This is Jaypriya, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. I am going to explain layers of OSI model in computer network. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. It has been developed by ISO, International Standard of Organization, in the year 1984. It is a 7-layer architecture with each layer having specific functionality to perform. All these 7 layers work collaboratively to transmit the data from one person to another across the globe. So you look at the diagrammatic representation. There are 7 layers: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. These all layers, 7 layers happening in the receiver side. The same like that, these 7 layers will be there in the sender side also. We will start from the bottom. Bottom 3 layers, we will call it as the hardware layer, and the topmost 3 layers, we will call it as the software layers. The middle layer is the transport layer. We will call it as the heart of the OSI model. So we will see each layers and their functions also. We will start with the physical layer. That means lowest layer. Physical layer, layer 1. This is the lowest layer of the OSI reference model. It is responsible for the actual physical connection between the devices. The physical layer contains information in the form of bits. Okay, so bits is nothing but zeros and ones. It is responsible for transmitting individual bits from one node to the next. That means one node means sender to the receiver. We are sending this layer is responsible for transmitting data from sender to the receiver. When receiving data, this layer will get the signal received and convert it into zeros and ones and send them to the data link layer. This is the process happening in the physical layer, which will put the frame back together. Okay, next we will see the functions of the physical layer: bit synchronization, bit rate control, physical topologies, transmission. These are the 4 functions of the physical layer. First, we will see the bit synchronization. The physical layer provides the synchronization of the bits by providing a clock. How they can provide the synchronization of the bit? By providing a clock. This clock control both sender and receiver, thus providing synchronization at a bit level. For example, if the sender has 10 data, the sender sends the first data to the receiver. So within the particular time, if the sender receives the acknowledgement, then it's fine. If it doesn't receive the acknowledgement, then it has to retransmit the data one again to the receiver. For that purpose, they are providing a clock. The next one, bit rate control. This physical layer defines the transmission rate. That means number of bits sent per second. Here, next one, the bits should be controlled by the bit rate control. Next one is the physical topologies. Topology, we know the way in which the different devices are connected. Physical layer specifies the way in which the different devices are connected in the network. Topologies can be divided into 5 types. We all know that means bus topology, star topology, ring topology, tree topology, and the extended tree topology. So next one is the transmission mode. This layer defines the way in which the data flows between the 2 connected devices. The various transmission modes are simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. Hub, repeater, modem cables are the physical layer devices. Network layer, data link layer, and physical layer are nodes. Lower layers are hardware layers. We all know, right? We have studied in the first one itself. So physical layer means physical connections between the devices. The data in the physical layer is in the form of bits. It performs 4 functions: bit synchronization, bit rate control, physical topologies, and transmission mode. The next we will go for the data link layer. Data link layer is responsible for the node-to-node delivery of the messages. Node-to-node means sender to receiver, receiver to sender. This is the node-to-node delivery of the messages. Each layer will perform the same functions. That means sending the data from sender to receiver. So in addition to that, what is the special function each layer will do? So physical layer means it provides the physical connection between the devices. That is the special function done by the physical layer. This data link layer, the main function is error free of data. This will be done by error detection and error correction methods. Okay, so the main function of this layer is to make sure data transfer is error free from one node to the another over the physical layer. When a packet arrives in a network, it is the responsibility of the data link layer to transmit it to the host using its MAC address. Data link layer is divided into two sublayers. One is the logical link control, another is the media access control. The packet received from the network layer is further divided into frames depending on the frame size of NIC. That means network interface card. Data link layer also encapsulates senders and receivers MAC address in the header. That means in the frame there should be a header part and at the last there should be a trailer. So the header part it contains the MAC address in the header. The functions of the data link layer are, what are the functions? Framing, physical addressing, error control and flow control. The final one is the access control. So 5 functions it will be done. Framing. Framing is a function of the data link layer. It provides the way for the sender to transmit a set of bits that are meaningful to the receiver. This can be accomplished by attaching special bit patterns to the beginning and to the end of the frame. At the beginning, we will use that, we will call it as the header. At the end, we will call it as the trailer. So this is the frame. That is the first function done by the data link layer. Next one is the physical addressing. Physical addressing means once we have created frames, data link layer adds physical address. That means MAC address. Physical address is otherwise known as MAC address. That physical address of sender and receiver in the header of each frame. Physical addresses will be attached in the sender in the beginning of the frame. That is, we call it as MAC address. The next one is the error control. Error control means data link layer provides the mechanism of error control in which it detects and retransmits damaged or lost frames. This error control is mainly done by data link layer only. So error control, how many types are there means, so there we can see positive error control, that means positive acknowledgement, negative acknowledgement. So in the positive acknowledgement, it will give the positive, that means the receivers gets the data means they will give the positive acknowledgement. If the receiver didn't reach, if a sender sends the data, receiver receives the data, then it has to give the positive acknowledgement to the sender. That means the messages has been received. In the same way, negative acknowledgement is also there. Sender sends the data, receiver receives the data. So, but the receiver sends the negative acknowledgement to the sender. That means the data is lost. The data is corrupted. That is negative acknowledgement. If the negative acknowledgement is sending to the sender, then sender has to retransmit the message again to the receiver. That is, in this way, it will do the error control. Next, the next one is retransmission, also done by this error control. So if the negative, it reaches the negative feedback acknowledgement, then the retransmission of the same message will be done by the sender. Next one, flow control mechanism. Flow control mechanism, the data rate must be constant on both sides. Otherwise, the data might get corrupted. That is done by the flow control mechanism. So in the just before we have seen error control mechanism. So there are 3 types of error control mechanism are there. Stop and wait, go back, and selective repeat. Stop and wait means the sender sends the data, the receiver receives the data, then the receiver gives the acknowledgement to the sender. That means it is depends on the data. That means they will give positive acknowledgement or negative acknowledgement. The sender sends the data, the receiver receives the data, the receiver gives the acknowledgement to the sender. So that is stop and wait. Stop and wait. So once we have to send the protocol data, then the receiver receives the data, the sender has to wait. That is stop and wait, ARQ. ARQ means automatic repeat request. So that is done by this error control. The second method is go back ARQ. Go back ARQ means there is a buffer in the sender side. For example, the sender has 10 data. That data should be stored in the sending buffer. That means the data should be stored in the buffer that is in the sender side. So next in the receiver side, it doesn't has any buffer, something like that. So if the sender sends the data, but the receiver has to receive the data and they have to reassemble the data based on the sender sending the data. This will be done by the go back N ARQ. Next, selective ARQ means there is a buffer in both sender side and receiver side. That is selective ARQ. So three types of error control: stop and wait, next go back, then selective. Go stop and wait means data is sent one by one after getting the acknowledgement. Go back means the only sender has the buffer, and the selective means sender and receiver both has the buffer, so to send the data. Next one, flow control. Flow control means here also same something similar like that previous model, that means error control. Here the data sender has the buffer, but it has the capacity of storing 10 data. The receiver also has the buffer, it has the capacity of storing 5 data. But without knowing the capacity of the receiver, the sender sends the data. So the 10 data are sending simultaneously from the sender to the receiver, but the sender doesn't know the capacity of the receiver buffer. So the receiver has the capacity to store only 5 data. What will be happening? Overflow of data will be happening. So this will be avoided by the flow control. So the sender sends the data, receiver has to receive the data. So we must know the capacity of the receiver. So this all will be done by the flow control. The data rate must be constant on both sides. Constant means same on both sides. Here also 5 means there also 5. In the sender side, the buffer capacity is 5 means in the receiver side also the capacity of the buffer is 5. So that will be done by the flow control. Next, last one, access control. When a simple communication channel is shared by multiple devices, that means MAC sublayer of the data link layer helps to determine which devices has control over the channel at a given time. This will be done by the access control. So access control means single communication channel. Communication channel, we can say the example optic fiber cable. That communication channel, when a single communication channel is shared by multiple devices. So at that time, this access control has control over the channel at a given time. So when a single communication channel is shared by multiple devices, that means MAC sublayer of the data link layer helps to determine which device has control over the channel at a given time. This all will be decided by this access control only. Okay, so there how many data link layer, the main thing is it has to correct the error and detect the error. So here, how many things are there? Functions of it will be happening: framing, physical addressing, error control, flow control, and access control. Framing is the function of the data link layer. Physical addressing, it gives address in the header of each frame. Next, flow error control detects the error. We can detect the error by using the acknowledgement also. Acknowledgement can be positive or negative acknowledgement. Then there are 3 methods we will be using: stop and wait, go back, then another one, selective repeat. Flow control means based on the buffering capacity of the sender and receiver, it will be happening. Next, access control means a single communication channel is shared by multiple devices, so that this access layer has to control over the channel at a given time, that is access control. Packet in the data layer is referred as frame. Packet is simply data. Data in the data link layer, here we will call it as, instead of data, we will call it as frame. This is technical word. Okay. So next come to network layer. Network layer, it works for the transmission of data from one host to the other located in different networks. That means from sender to receiver, we are going to send the data. Each layer will take their responsibility. So physical layer sends the data from sender to receiver. And in the second one, data link layer also sends the data from sender to receiver. But next, network layer also send the data from sender to receiver. That is the another word, host to another host. It takes care of packet routing. The main function is routing. It will tell what is the shortest path, in which path we will it can no signals are there, no corruptions are there, it will check. So it will be designed by the transport layer. Next, at the sender side and at the receiver side also, these all things will be happening. Transport layer receives the formatted data from the upper layers and performs segmentation and also implements flow and error control to ensure proper data communication. What is it also it will do? It also adds source and destination port number in its header and forwards the segmented data to the network layer. Generally, this destination port number is configured either by default or manually. For example, a web application makes a request to a web server. It typically uses port number 80 because this is the default port assigned to web applications. Many applications have default port assigned. Okay, this all thing will be happening in the sender side. At the receiver side, transport layer reads the port number from its header and forwards the data which it has to receive to the respective application. It performs sequencing and reassembling of the segmented data. The functions of the transport layer are segmentation and reassembly. That means this layer accepts the messages from the session layer, break the messages into smaller units. So each of the segment produced has the header associated with it. The transport layer at the destination station reassembles the messages. For example, the sender sends the messages, but it does in the receiver side. See, the numbers are not there. So what the receiver will do? Segmentation. So what are the things are segmented? In the receiver side, they will be reassembled and give some messages. That will be done by this transport layer. Next, service point addressing. In order to deliver the message to the correct process, transport layer header includes a type of address called service point address or port address. Thus, by specifying this address, transport layer makes sure that the message is delivered to the correct address or not. Okay, transport layer, what it will do? Segmentation and reassembling, service point addressing. These two things will be happening at the receiver side. So first what it will be do transport layer. At the sender side, it will do segmentation, flow control and error control. And at the receiver side, it will do segmentation again and reassembly. And another function, service point addressing. Service point addressing means it ensures the sender address or receiver address in the header of the train. So it will perform another services also, connection oriented services and connectionless services. Connection oriented services will be done by 3 steps. That means connection establishment, data transfer, termination. That means at the end of the call, we will terminate it, right? So it is a 3-way process. Connection establishment means before starting the connection, we will establish the connection, then transfer the data. At the end of the communication, we will cut our call, right? Same like the termination. In this type of transmission, the receiving device sends an acknowledgement back to the source after a packet or group of packet is received. This type of transmission is reliable and secure. Reliable means it's very accurate, and secure means unauthorized persons or attackers can't be able to get the data very easily. This is the connection oriented services. In the connection oriented services, 3 main phases are there: connection establishment, data transfer, termination. Next, connectionless service. In this type of transmission, the receiver does not get acknowledgement per receipt. The approach allows for much faster communication between devices. Connection-oriented service is more reliable than connectionless service. So we know connection-oriented service is always reliable, but we can cover it for shorter distance. But connectionless service, we can cover it for longer distance. In the connection-oriented service, we need infrastructure, but in the connectionless service, we doesn't want any infrastructures. But even though it is connection-oriented, even though it needs infrastructure, connection-oriented is very reliable and secure. We will consider one example. There are 2 sites are there. In the middle of the 2 sites, there is a river. So all are planning to build a bridge in these 2 sites, between these 2 sites. So if you want to, for example, a postman wants to send a mail from one side to another, they will use the bridge to send the data to the receiver. This is the connection oriented example. For connectionless, we will use pigeon. In the olden days, they will use pigeon to send their data to the particular receivers like that. But in the connectionless service, it is very fast. The pigeon will fly very fast, but we don't know for sure whether the message has been received to the particular receiver or not. We don't know for sure, we don't get any acknowledgement. That is the thing they have told here. Connection oriented service, connectionless service. Connection oriented service, we will get acknowledgement, but in the connectionless service we won't get any acknowledgement. So the best example is bridge, constructing a bridge between two sides. The postman sends a mail from one side to the another side, so they will here the data received by the receiver is very secure. But in the pigeon, that is wireless communication, he doesn't know, the sender doesn't know for sure whether the data has been reached to the receiver safely or not. Okay, that is connectionless service. Data. So this is the best example for connection oriented service and the connectionless service. Okay, next come to the connectionless service. Come to the final of this layer, transport layer. Data in the transport layer, here we will call it as segments. Transport layer is operated by the operating system. It is a part of the OS and communicate with the application layer by making system calls. Transport layer is called as the heart of the OSI model. Next one. So we have seen transport layer. At the sender side, what will be happening, and at the receiver side, what will be happening. So here, what is the service available? Next to fifth layer is the session layer. So the transport layer is the heart of the OSI model. Next is the session layer. This layer is responsible for establishment of connections, maintenance of sessions, authentication, and also ensure security. So there also we have seen connection establishment, data transfer, and termination. Here also same thing, data establishment, maintenance of session, and security. The functions of the session layer are session establishment, maintenance, and termination. So here one more function, two more functions are there. Synchronization, dialog controller. Synchronization, what will be happening? This layer allows a process to add checkpoints which are considered as synchronization points into the data. This synchronization point helps to identify the errors so that the error is resynchronized properly and the ends of the messages are not cut prematurely and data loss is avoided. The same thing, the sender sends the data, the receiver receives the data. So there is a clock in the sender side. If the sender doesn't get the acknowledgement for the data one in a particular time, what the sender will do, the sender will retransmit the messages. That means retransmit the messages. Or otherwise, the sender receives the acknowledgement in a particular time, means what will be happening? If it is based on the acknowledgement, it has to retransmit or not, the sender has to decide. If it is positive acknowledgement, the sender doesn't want to retransmit the messages. If it is negative acknowledgement, means the sender has to retransmit the message again. Then after that, again it will be waiting. The sender has to wait to get the acknowledgement. So if they get the positive acknowledgement, the sender has to send the next data. These all things will be happening in the synchronization. Next, dialog controller. This layer allows two systems to start communication with each other in half duplex or full duplex. Okay, so in which way the system has to communicate? This all will be done by the dialog controller. All the below three layers are integrated as single layer in the TCP/IP model as application layer. Implementation of these three layers is done by the network application itself. These are known as upper layers or software layers. So session layer, so the main thing is connection establishment, maintenance, and authentication. Here the functions, session establishment, maintenance, synchronization, dialog controller. These are the main functions of this thing. Next one, we will see the scenario, that means example. Let's consider a scenario where a user wants to send a message through some messenger application running in his browser. The messenger here accesses the application layer, which provides the user with an interface to create the data. This message are called, so-called data is compressed, encrypted, and converted into bits so that it can be transmitted. So look at the diagram, sender compressing the messages and giving to the receiver. Next, presentation layer. This is the layer 6 layers. Presentation layer is also called as translation layer. Data from the application layer is extracted here and manipulated as per the required format to transmit over the network. The functions of the presentation layer are translation, encryption, compression. So translation example ASCII, EBC, DIC. Encryption, decryption we all know. The plain text is encrypted by using key and it produces the ciphertext. Again, the ciphertext is given as the input to the decryption. By using the key, it will be decrypted and it produces the plain text. Same process happening. Encryption, decryption, data encryption translates the data into another form or code. The encrypted data is known as ciphertext and the decrypted data is known as plain text. A key value is used for encrypting as well as decrypting data. Okay, so encryption and decryption mainly used for security purpose. Next, compression. It reduces the number of bits that need to be transmitted on the network. Okay, so we will compress the files. Now, what is the purpose of compressing the files? Reduces the number of bits, but the contents are same. We have to reduce the number of bits that need to be transmitted on the network. For that purpose, we are compressing. That is presentation layer. Next one is the application layer. Application layer is the topmost layer, that means layer 7. At the very top of the OSI reference model is the application layer. We find the application layer which is implemented by the network applications. These applications produces the data which has to be transported over the network. This layer also serves as a window for the application services to access the network and for displaying the received information to the user. Example, application browsers, Skype messengers, etc. Application layer is also called as desktop layers. So application layer is otherwise called as desktop layers. The functions of the applications layer are network virtual terminal, FTAM, that means file transfer access management, mail services, directory services. File transfer access management means we have to transfer the files. All these things happens because of the application layer. Mail services means sending the mails, emails from sender to receiver. These all things will be happening based on this layer. OSI model acts as a reference model and it is not implemented in the internet because of its late invention. Current model being used is the TCP/IP model. Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. This is the model currently we are used in this layer. So these are all about the ISO OSI model, 7 layers: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, presentation layer, session layer, application layer. These are the 7 layers we have studied in this OSI model. That's all about this OSI layer. Thank you.